So we got to see John Carpenter's The Thing on the big screen. Stay tuned for us to tell you how awesome it was. We were lucky enough to be living in a city that happened to have a screening of John Carpenter's The Thing on the big screen, and I'm wondering what your initial thoughts or reactions were.
Well, aside from the fact it's an awesome movie.
That's a given, yes.
One of the benefits of seeing it in theaters is you're in a dark theater, and the movie itself is dark. And I don't mean the subject matter,
No.
I actually mean the lighting.
Ah, okay.
It is not... There's that very stereotypical when it's nighttime, everything's blue and you can see everything.
Oh, in more modern times.
horror movies.
Okay.
In this movie, when it's dark, it is in Antarctica. You don't see anything except what their flashlight is on or what they're shining on, and it gives it that very scary element that you can't see things either.
Right, yeah, I mean, you know, fear of the dark is base common denominator to almost everybody, and as you pointed out, the dark these days is not really dark, thus diminishing the scare. The dark in The Thing is jet black, and as you said, all you see is The Thing, or, you know, some monster or whatever else, so that was definitely a big bonus.
Yes. You don't get your lamplight glare, the sun glare. You are in the dark, and it really gives it that enveloping feeling, being in the movie. Right,
the lamplight glare if you were at home. Yeah, off of your TV. Yeah, definitely the big screen is where it's at.
What were some of the things that struck you?
Oh, well, one of the things that actually did strike me pretty hard while watching this film was that this film took chances that horror movies don't. Now, that is to say, if I were to tell you that, hey, there's this cool horror movie coming out that's got really big explosions in it, what would you think? Exactly, and yet, John Carpenter pulled it off successfully, and I think that it's certainly a testament to him, but it might also be a testament to how bad things are today. And what I'm trying to say is that horror, even in the 90s, 2000s, certainly today, seems to have pigeonholed itself.
There's 3 different types of horror movies.
Here's your supernatural. That's it.
Yeah.
Here's your monster movie. That's it. Here's your gore. That's it. You know, The Thing says, no, we're not going to be limited by that.
Yeah.
We're going to take a canvas approach, throw in, put whatever works. If it works, if it's frightening, if it is, you know, integral to the story, then it doesn't matter if it's a big explosion. It doesn't matter anything at all. It doesn't sound strange when watching The Thing, but let's admit it, it would be strange in a modern horror movie. There's not a single female in the entire movie.
Yeah.
Not a one.
And that didn't really even occur as an issue.
Exactly, but you know it would be an issue today. So the fact that they took chances, the fact that they weren't restrained, the fact that they are pointing out how obviously restrained and limited today's horror movies are, really struck me as I was sitting there watching it.
Well, I think even a point off that is a lot of modern horror, unfortunately, but there is some spoon feeding perhaps that occurs. We've talked about that before. The Thing is very open-ended. There's a lot of interpretations.
Yes, that was another beautiful thing. You know, you've got Crary and Childs at the end, the last 2 survivors. Their only outlook is to wait until they freeze to death, and yet
you don't know.
Maybe one of them is not as he seems, and it ends. That's it. Make your own choices. Discuss it with your friends. Use your brain! It's these things that we just don't do today, and it further made my love for The Thing grow.
And there is no explanation in a lot of, you know, you get to the climax of the movie, there's the exposition scene where they have to explain everything that's happened. We do get some explanation, but very little, and I felt like you're still, what is it?
Yeah, you mean like the explanation regarding the antagonist, The Thing. Where did it come from? What does it want? Why is it doing this?
Or just why?
Just why as well, yeah. Again, talk about it, discuss it, figure it out yourself. Another thing that struck me was that we had an opportunity to see this film with a number of individuals, not a small number, that had actually never seen The Thing in any capacity at all, ever. And it was a cross-section of ages, ethnicities, the whole 9 yards. Universally, to the last man and woman, they thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They were scared, terrified. and they were enthralled from beginning to end. And this is a film that's over 30 years old.
And it's still held up. There was still no the normal complaints you get with horror movies.
Right. That it's too slow. That it wasn't scary. That I've seen it all before. None of that. A testament to the strength and longevity of this bona fide classic.
And this happens really all over the country. This is not limited to where we live. You know, look up some classic movie listings, maybe where you live. There's plenty of things that go on. So I'm sure things like this are happening all over, and it's probably worth checking out to see what you can see in theaters.
Definitely worth checking out, and a lot of these are not exactly what you would call super funded.
Yeah.
So that's why we say dig, hunt. You will find something. Odds are it is out there, but you might have to make a little bit of effort. The payoff is going to be more than worth it, though.
Have you seen any classic horror movies in the big screen? Not the first time, a rerun? You know, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you about what you've gotten to experience.
And subscribe to our channel so that we're not the only two left sitting out in the Antarctic.